What's the crack, lads? Welcome back to the DFG Sports channel, and welcome to the new College Football 26 game here. So we've got some brand new content and a brand new series here for you, with also a brand new format. So you're getting new everything here today. Something that since college football has come out, I've kind of been thinking about what I was going to do with it, and this is what I've come up with. We have a new format here for College Football 26. The normal format that I would do is I would pick a team. Usually that's not really a Power 5 or I suppose a Power 4 conference team, kind of one in the other 5 conferences. A team that's probably not very good, a team that needs to be built up from the bottom to the top. And that's usually what I do. And this one is going to be a lot different. I'm going to take a team from one of the Power 4 conferences who are one of the worst teams in those conferences and bring them to become a national college, national college powerhouse in college football. So obviously we're going to be choosing from teams that are generally quite good, but they're not good in their conference. So teams that have had national championship droughts, conference championship droughts, teams that haven't been doing well lately. They're the type of teams that we're looking at. We're not necessarily looking at teams that we see that are, they might go 7-6 in the Mountain West, and we want to make them better, or even going 2-10 in the Mountain West and want to make them better. That's not what we're doing here. I'm trying to make them. I'm trying to go to a Power 5 conference, get a team that hasn't had much success, and bring them back or bring them to forefront of college football. So with that all said, let's see which team we're going to pick. So the team I've decided to pick is the Mississippi State Bulldogs. The reason being is that they're in the SEC. They've never won a national championship in football. They were ranked number 1 in 2014 according to Google, so don't at me if that's not true. They haven't won a conference championship since 1941. The last time they challenged for a conference championship, obviously they lost, was in 1998. So it hasn't been, a very successful time for the Mississippi State Bulldogs. And although there are other teams that have a longer drought, Vanderbilt I think has had a longer drought than that in college football for a national championship and a conference championship. The Mississippi State Bulldogs, the reason why I chose them over someone such as Vanderbilt was because last year Vanderbilt went, I think it was 7-6, and they went to a bowl game and won the bowl game. So they've actually had some success, even as recent as last year. Mississippi State haven't. They went 2-10 last year and lost all their games, I think, in conference play. Another reason why I picked Mississippi State is because they're one of the lowest prestiged teams in college football in the SEC. They're only 2.5 stars, which is incredibly low for an SEC team. And that's the reason why I've chosen them. So obviously we're going to create a new coach here, and it's going to be a recruiter. So obviously, we're just going to call ourselves DFT Sports here. It's not going to be all that big. We're going to do some things. We're going to change some AI stuff and mix some things around here to make sure it kind of fits in with what we want to do. And you can see that on the screen. There's no real need for me to explain that. But the thing I do want to explain is this isn't going to be just this simple dynasty where we go in, we simulate, a bunch of games, get to the off season, do our recruiting and blah blah blah, and then get a bunch of players into through the transfer portal, and by the second season we're one of the best teams in the conference and in national football. That's not how we're going to do things. This is going to be hopefully a long-term, really fast-paced. This is only the introduction video, so it's probably going to be maybe between 10-15 minutes. Get you introduced about what we're trying to do. Get you introduced to what the dynasty is going to be. But one of the big things that I need to explain in this video is the rules. There are going to be rules in this, so I can't just go in there, get 5-star recruits, and in 2 or 3 years we're going to be one of the best. No, it's not how we're going to do things. We're going to make very, very, very strict rules for Mississippi, for the Mississippi State dynasty, to basically build up like a college football program normally is. is done, and that's what we're going to do today. So I'm going to bring you through those rules later. They will come up on the screen, so you have an easier way to see what they are, but they're pretty restrictive in what we can do, and yeah, that's pretty much it. So going into the custom schedules here, I'm obviously going to set these up, and when we get back to them, then I'll go through them. So what we're going to do here is we're going to go to Southern Miss, or they're going to come to us. We're going to face them at Davis Wade Stadium. Then we're going to go to Texas Tech. They're ranked 25 in the nation to start the season. Then we're going to face USF, and they're going to travel to us. And then UCLA is going to be our last game. We're going to travel there to the Rose Bowl to play them. And then the rest is just going to be our conference schedule. So pretty difficult schedule. This is the kind of schedule that I want. I don't want it to be too easy because I don't want us to go like 6 and, I don't think we're going to go 6-6 anyway, even because of the SEC. But I didn't want to win our first 4 games and then go 4-8, so it makes it look like a decent season. So we put in some difficult, an easy opener, I would say, with Southern Miss, but the rest, they're going to be difficult games. Right, now time to look at the roster to see what we need. So our best player here is a running back, Bothwell, 90 overall. So we have good players. It's not like these are, that we're a bad team. It's just we're not, an amazing team. This is the SEC. We've got, NFL ready teams that could go on. But we do have a pretty decent team. We've got, as I said, Bothwell. Smith's another good player. Devon Booth, another running back that we've got. So lots of good players. Looking at our roster, Blake Shapen is our quarterback. He's 81, but 82 overall. We've got some decent talent, but here behind him, Luke Kromanoak, a dual threat. They say Blake Shapen is a pocket passer, but with 80 speed, I don't know about that. But yeah, we've got some. He's got star dev trade as well for Kromanoak, so not a bad guy to have. So we're not totally interested in getting a quarterback here with him being there. Running back, as I said, we're pretty set. Got some really good talent there, especially with Fluff Bothwell. Hopefully he doesn't go to the NFL. I think he'd have to go. No, he's not a redshirt sophomore, so he has to do his junior season. So he's not going anywhere this year, as far as I'm aware. I could be wrong though. Wide receiver, not really great talent here at all, and we're actually really thin. We've got 2 seniors. The rest are okay. I know I'd like Aiden Williams to play. He's got star dev for Brennan Thompson, star impact for Jordan Mosley. So really good players, but there's 2 seniors here. Would like to get some more talent on the wide receiver front. Tight end should be okay. I probably will play Seydou Traore over Max Reese because he's a junior. But we'll see. Traore is a much scary trade. He's from London. Wow, that's cool. That's really cool. I didn't know they had international hometowns in this. That's really cool. Can you recruit international players? That would be really cool. Anyway, back to this. Offensive line, left tackle is definitely something we need to look at here. There's juniors, there's freshmen. Maybe get in a transfer here. Maybe want to redshirt some of these guys too. Left guard is fine, but we need to get more depth there. Center, another area of concern. Keenum is a sophomore, but still would like to get more. Right guard, that's actually okay. We might be able to cover our left guard weakness, or our left tackle weakness with some of the depth we have on the interior. We'll have to wait and see. And right tackle, pretty decent. Yeah, we actually have 2 really good tackles here. Well, decent tackles. Maybe you just put Javen James out there as a pass protector. I actually might do that. He's a right tackle, but with his ratings, I suppose I might put him just play at left. We'll have to see. At edge, We got some seniors here. We need left end edges, obviously. Right edge is not as much as a concern. Lots of defensive tackles, so good to see there. Sam linebackers. We've got a senior and a junior and a sophomore. So yeah, this team is it's pretty good. Like let's not split any hairs here. Secondary, pretty okay, though they're seeing their best cornerback is a senior, but they've got two underclassmen here. So yeah. So my biggest concern is after this year, the drop from this year's talent to next year's could be significant. We'll have to do some good recruiting. We'll see how we get on, but obviously, this is only introduction. We'll introduce the roster, and hopefully we can do well this year. I'm not quite sure how well we're going to do given we're in the SEC, but this team looks like it's only going to get worse rather than get better. So we'll have to take a look at how we can make this team as good as we possibly can. Looking at the preseason All-Americans here, Cade Klubnik is the quarterback for the preseason first team. There's a lot of guys here. That's not surprising that they're here, especially if you're very interested in college football. I'm not a huge follower of college football, but I do like the games. Second team here is Drew Allar. So that's the preseason All-Americans if you want to take a look at them there. But I want to see the SEC. Do we have any players? I doubt it. Mississippi State. So the best player we have is our running back. So no one in the first team. Nate Frazier, who's actually worse than our running back, and Jam Miller, who's also worse than our running back. So our running and Jaden Ott and Trevion Wisner, who are more along those lines, are on the second team. Okay, game. Okay. We have a freshman one? No, we don't. Interesting. Yeah, well, that's the preseason All-Americans. Is this what they expect them to be? They think Alabama's going to win? Is that what they think? That's interesting. I'm not sure if that's what, because they did that in the NCAA 14. They'd show you where they think you're going to finish. I don't know if this is the same. But they say Alabama and Texas are going to be in the conference championship, if that is the case. But interesting. They don't have us last, which is I'm surprised by that. I thought they would, because Vandy actually did okay last year. As I said, I love the way they say first in the SEC, which is funny. But yeah. Okay, so we need to do this, and I want to see. I think DB is probably my best go here, honestly, because I think our quarterback and our running back, wide receiver might be nice. Wide receiver and tight ends, maybe O-line actually. I would like to get all of these. I can only purchase one of these, so it's either DB, wide receiver, tight end. I'm actually going to go for wide receiver, tight end. Let's try and get better on the throwing football. So the recruiting. What rules are we going to put in the dynasty here in this rebuild so that we're not just going to become an SEC powerhouse overnight? So I do have a few rules here. Some of them I think are a little bit lenient, and others I think are incredibly harsh. And I suppose the main reason what I've gone around here is the transfer portal. And if you look at my school here and we go through, you can see there's a lot of players at risk willing to go and transfer. Now, we might be able to change that over time, but at the moment, there are players who, are at risk of transferring, and there's some really good ones as well. So I've put in some really strict rules to try and make sure that we can't just lose a bunch of players through the transfer portal and then just gain a bunch of them back. Not so much gain a bunch of them back, but restock the cabinet, so to speak. But as you can see, there's loads of players at risk of transferring. We need to make sure that they don't. I don't think that that's going to be possible. I don't think 90%. Like, I think Bothwell could very much transfer, and he's our best player. So we need to take a look at how we're going to attack this. So, as you all you guys know, the NCAA College Football 26 has a pipeline system where you can get platinum, gold, silver, and bronze for the pipeline grade. That basically means that the higher the pipeline, the better you get. So we obviously have a platinum pipeline in Mississippi, which is obviously our home state, and we also have gold stars and silver stars in places like Alabama and Georgia and Louisiana and places like that. You can see here we've got Alabama, and here's Texas, both silver pipelines. So we do have some pipelines in some really good states, real like states that usually come up with a lot of talent. So it's not like we're going to struggle, I think, here when it comes to recruiting in terms of what we have. But what I want to do here is I want to put in some bit of rules for recruiting, so I can't just go out and try and get all 5 stars. That's not how I play. It's not how it works. So the way I'm going to do this is, if you've got a platinum, or it's your home state, which of course is Mississippi, you can recruit any player. Doesn't matter what rating they are, we can recruit them. That's basically what we're going to do for platinum. For gold, it's going to be 4 stars and below. So Louisiana, we're going to be able to go after 4 stars. Doesn't mean it necessarily will. I'm not sure what way I'm going to look at it. But that's the rule. Silver then is 3 stars, and then if it's bronze or nothing, you can only draft to recruit 2 stars. I've said draft nearly every single time, but you can only recruit 2 stars. If you're not quite sure what I said there, the rules will be in the description, so you can read them there. They'll be a lot more clearer. But basically, pipelines are going to be hugely important. I'd like to build a few, so I will be going after maybe some 2 stars that maybe are getting overlooked, that look like good players. But we'll definitely look around and see what we can find. I might make these rules a little bit more difficult if I feel like we're getting too good too quickly. Like by year 3, we're like going for the SEC title. Then we're too good, and that I need to make these a little bit more restrictive. But I don't think that's going to happen, because I think in this year's and last year's college football, recruiting can be tough. Recruiting can be difficult. You can get sniped a lot by bigger teams, and I think when we're in places like Louisiana and Missouri and places like that, or Mississippi, excuse me, there are going to be bigger teams trying to get those players as well. So it's not just going to be us who are going to be going for these prospects, and more than likely the bigger prospects will probably want to go to bigger schools in the SEC. So we have to be careful when we're recruiting. So that's what we're going to do. The real, I suppose, harsh rule and harsh just complete block of what is going to hurt us the most is the transfer portal rules. We cannot recruit a transfer portal player who is rated higher than our prestige. We come in as a 2.5 star prestige, which means that in the transfer portal, at least in year 1, we can only recruit 2-star players or worse in the transfer portal. That's how I'm trying to level it out. So, like the prospect, the freshmen and the JUCOs, we can recruit pretty much anyone we want, to be honest, because of the pipelines that we have. But when it comes to the transfer portal and bringing in players that might be, more ready to start out the gate to replace someone else who's leaving in transfer portal. We're not going to be able to get those big players at 4-star and 3-star. It's going to be or 5-star if there are any. There very rarely is. But we're going to be going after only 2-stars, and we will have to go after them to fill out this roster. You can see at the top there, our team needs. There's a lot of them, and we need to make sure that we have these players. And I'm going to have to go hard into our pipelines and get recruiting freshmen and just get as many people as we can. And hopefully, because we have such a good team, like Mississippi State is still a really good team, and we're in a good conference, and we've got good grades. It's just we need to be better in comparison to some of our rivals in the SEC to get some of these players. But that's all we have time for, guys. I hope you like this introduction to our new series and format here for College Football 26. I'm not 100% sure whether I'm going to do a normal series in College Football 26. I still have New Mexico State College Football 25 going, and I'm not quite sure what I want to do with that either. So we'll have to wait and see. But thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I hope you'll be back for our next video where we're going to go zip right through year 1 and get to year 2 and see what we can do with this team. Peace out, guys. Have a great day.